Hello and welcome everyone to another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today I have got a game from the Razer replay pack of the week, and it is between ROOTDestiny, who is the red Zerg player in the top right, and LiquidNonY, who is the blue Protoss player in the lower left. That means we do have a PvZ Zerg v Protoss, and it is on the map Cloud Kingdom. So it is just a ladder game, so it's a best of one. That means everything comes down to how these two play right here, right now, and it's all or nothing basically, so that's always fun. Now, let me just quickly say something about the Razer replay pack of the week. It's released on Team Liquid Pro. It's absolutely awesome, and basically it's from... They take one of the Liquid players, so in this case LiquidNonY, and release a whole ton of their recent games just as an example of some cool games. And they're always really top quality games, so I really love it. Anyway, what can we expect from these two players? Well, we've got Destiny as the Zerg. Well, against Protoss, you're pretty crazy unless you go for a 14 or 15 pull into a quick natural and a 4 to 5 minute third base. That is the standard thing you'll see. But NonY isn't doing the standard Protoss, which is of course a forward fast expansion, or sometimes even a Nexus first. He's putting that pylon on the high ground, he's going to wall off on the high ground, and that's going to throw the spanner in the works a bit for Destiny, especially if he doesn't scout it in time, because, I mean, there's lots of things you can do off one base, which can be really scary. Now, obviously, it is possible that NonY is just going for, say, a 1-gate Nexus, but that gas, again, it's good timing of the gas, it's suggesting a bit more tech. It could be anything. It could be a 4-gate, it could be a 3-gate Blink Stalker play, it could be 3-gate Blink Stalker with an Observer to blink up onto the high ground here and really utilize this area. There's basically lots of different things that can go on. Now, interesting thing to note here is what Destiny's doing with this drone. Patrolling back and forth. You may be thinking, why is that happening? What's going on? And really it all comes down to why there's this natural supply depot on a lot of the tournament maps. It's to prevent a Protoss player building 3 pylons and walling off the Zerg. And basically if that happens and a couple of cannons are put down, it becomes exceptionally difficult for any Zerg player to really push through them before roaches come out, really. And that's a big problem in itself. So, taking a look down here, we do have the Cybercore on its way. Still only 1 gas, although second gas just being taken by NonY here. And that second gas says, I'm not expanding quickly, I'm not going to be 4-gating, I'm going for tech. That is really what the second gas does say. The Overlord coming to poke in now because it hasn't seen any wall off here, so suddenly Destiny's going to be trying to think what's these different options. We do have the natural base down, and it looks like Destiny's getting ready to go and take a third. And this drone just going to come and scout around, probably much more likely scouting just for things such as proxy pylons or anything like that. But the third probably won't go down now, purely because there isn't a natural expansion. So I'd be very surprised to see if Destiny did go for that, because it'd just be a bit more risky. So no, we're not going to see that. Being 1 base up is absolutely fine. A couple of Zerglings being built instead. We do have the first gas coming down, so that'll probably be used for speed. That is a very effective upgrade, especially against Stalkers, because that means Zerglings then travel fast. We've got a second gateway coming in. So this is going to be a bit of pressure actually, and in all honesty a 2-gate bit of poking, a bit of prodding can be very potent. We've got a lot of sentries coming out, and it does look like actually NonY's getting ready to expand. So I'm thinking, considering the sentry count is already working its way up, we may see that very scary, difficult to defend Immortal Sentry push off of 2 base. That is very difficult for Zerg players to defend against, and really the best way to do it is you've got to have a very good engagement, so attack from multiple angles, get maximum surface area, and have a good deal of roaches and also Zerglings, and that is really the only way to go about it, unless of course you do something a bit more fancy. But either way, it's pretty tough, and it needs you to know exactly what's coming, exactly when it's going to hit, and react perfectly. So that's why a lot of Zerg players are very annoyed by it, because of course force fields are exceptionally effective against Zerglings. And I mean, also you've got the problem with Immortals. They deal with spine crawlers very well, and I mean, to be honest, NonY, he's going to get this expansion up, he's getting a good wall up, and getting that Stargate as well. This is a very characteristic play of NonY right here, that when you get that Stargate down, it is at the front, so he's not even trying to conceal it. Now, against Zerg, he quite often gets a couple of Phoenix out and usually 1 Void Ray, and that works very well, because essentially the Phoenix disable the Queens, which are the predominant anti-air defense of Zerg, and unless you see an evolution chamber come down shortly, Spore Crawlers are really the only other option until you get Lair Tech, which of course is just starting now for Destiny, but that Overlord will get complete vision of the Stargate, so it's not going to come to any surprise to Destiny, who should be able to completely defend this easily. He's a really good player, and if he lost that, I'd be very, very shocked. Now, we have these two Zerglings just sitting here, but there is a complete wall off in position. Probe transfer coming down here for NonY. The third base nearly done for Destiny as well, but that is a potentially weak spot. The Void Wave on its way out for NonY here. A lot of Zerglings coming out, but unfortunately Zerglings can't yet jump, so will not be able to deal with the air units, but should be able in very, very large numbers to engage this force. But of course, Sentry Zealot is probably the worst thing you could possibly come up against with pure Zergling, just because Zealots on their own engage very effectively. If you throw a few force fields in, it becomes crazy cost effective to engage. So the Protoss player in that situation is going to be very, very happy, but we will see NonY pulling back, and you might think, well, he could engage that easily, why is he running away? The reason being is he's forced a lot of Zerglings, and Destiny now really has to come and engage. Now, a couple of Zealots are going to come in here. They've got very, very good engagement arcs, but it will all get picked off, and if we look at the loss tab, engaging actually pretty similar, so that's fine, but the Sentry's got back, that's the important thing. And now we do have Phoenix following up. We've got a Spire on the way out for Destiny. That's going to take an awful long time too, but with the double Evo chamber coming down, so we do need to see those spores. And now we do have the Zerglings trying to come in, but a couple go down, obviously a complete wall off there. More Phoenix on their way, as well as the +1 ground weapons. I mean, there's nothing here to really defend this. Those two Overlords could potentially get picked off, but I reckon the more likely thing is we'll see a lot of drones get taken down now. And that is always bad times when you see drones getting knocked out. A lot of spores being built everywhere for at this natural base, and, third base rather. The Queen is in position, coming in, trying to start to pick off the Void Ray. But I mean, with two Queens, that'd be a bit of a problem unless we got some good lifts out of the Phoenix, who unfortunately have used all their energy picking off some drones. But NonY managing to get 5 drones there is pretty nice, to be honest. It does mean that it puts him back in ahead in terms of the worker count, which is very, very nice. And any stray Overlords now will get picked off very easily. That essentially is 100 minerals, it's a lava, and also it potentially supply blocks the Zerg player, which is all very, very frustrating and damaging overall. Now, I think, in my own opinion, Destiny's gone a little bit overboard in terms of the Spore Crawlers. I mean, he's got 3 at the third, he's got 3 at the natural, and he's also got these 2 at the main. I think, to be honest, that's a bit overkill, but better to be safe than sorry. But obviously, if you are building that many units, it can cause problems. Now, a good ward up here will prevent the Zerglings from getting away, and means that they would all get picked off. And this move basically is suggesting that NonY is looking to go and take a third base. And I just flicked over to the units loss tab, and basically this is showing that NonY has been engaging so cost effectively, and every time he picks off an Overlord such as that, it's just great for him, because it just means he's engaging much, much more cost effectively than Destiny. He's getting units for free, and basically these Phoenix and the single Void Ray are paying for themselves incredibly well. And now there's a lot of Overlords here, and this is just a bit careless in my opinion by Destiny, because if you know there's so many Phoenix on the field as well as the Void Ray, you put all of your Overlords back, because they're just going to be free to kill. And of course, a couple of Mutas are coming in. The Void Ray will get picked off now. The Phoenix can run back, but I mean, obviously Phoenix do engage well against those Mutalisks, so that's not a big problem. And of course, you will see now some more Phoenix in production. Blink also on its way out. We do have the Fleet Beacon on its way as well now for NonY. That is a very, very early Fleet Beacon, and I'm really interested to see what he does with that. Of course, the third base does allow a Protoss player to do nearly anything, but Destiny in the correct response of getting a fourth. As a Zerg player, you always want to be 1 base up. It's kind of the categoric thing you want. We do have Pathogen Glands on the way, as well as the 1-1 upgrades for range ground units, and I mean, other than that, Destiny getting up his roach speeds, so really gearing up to do a lot of roach pressure. That's a good move, to be honest, because he's invested in Mutalisks, which are harassment units. They don't engage well head-on, and that essentially means that he needs to have something to defend himself. And now, we do have the Anion Pulse Crystals coming down upgrade, which was a new upgrade added in, I think it was 1.4. where basically it increases the range of Phoenix, and that was in order to help Protoss players deal with Mutalisks. So obviously it'll be interesting to see how Destiny deals with that. Those Phoenix are going to be a key part to NonY's play, and who can blame him? He's been very effective with them so far, still engaging incredibly cost effectively. For times more cost effectively, I think, and a quick little bit of mental maths there, so very, very nice. The third base up, of course, here, if we look at the worker count, 72 to 85. Now, that obviously does put the income in Destiny's favour, but NonY on 3 base is going to be able to do an awful lot of stuff. 3 mining bases is huge for Protoss. It means they can do nearly anything. This is a very, very nice wall off here, and would take an awful lot to punch through, so no Zergling run-bys or anything like that. We do have an awful lot of Phoenix here now, and of course the range upgrade is now complete, and they're just going to be able to go to town on an awful lot of drones here. I mean, spores are on their way out, because look how quickly this one gets vaporized. Do need to watch out for those infestors though, because if the mutants do get in range and the chain fungals come down, well, that can be pretty bad times. All of these Phoenix could go out, but not before they deal an incredibly large amount of damage. Basically to everything. They're even lifting those infested Terrans just to try and stay up. The spores do finish, and I mean, lost-wise, again, still NonY is half the resources lost compared to Destiny, so I'm not sure that was really worth it. And also Destiny, I believe, there lost all of his mutants. He did, so that was not too great. We have kind of cut the Phoenix. The mothership already on its way out. Only 1 Colossus on the field at the moment. A second one just joining in as well. And a 4th base attempt coming down here. That is a really quite an early 4th. And that's going to force Destiny to either come and put on some pressure, or alternatively take a 5th base. But a 5th base on Cloud Kingdom, you can either come up here and spread out massively, or down here. Either way, it's not ideal. It's not quite as comfortable as taking this 4th, and it'll be very interesting to see how it plays. And this is a bit of a misstep here out of NonY. Those 2 Colossi are going to go down exceptionally fast. That was a lovely little move there by Destiny, who is going to be able to pick off a huge amount of units right now. Some infested Terrans getting lobbed down, the Infestor getting lifted, but of course Infestors are armoured, which means they don't take huge amounts of damage from Phoenix, and that was a very, very nice move by Destiny, and actually put him in the lead, in my opinion, fractionally. So absolutely perfect. We do have Neural Parasite on the way down here for Destiny. He's also getting Roach Tunneling Claws, which means they can move while burrowed. We've got the Corruptors coming out, the Greater Spire on its way, Burrow coming out, more Infestors. That's of course up compared to NonY, who is getting the +3 ground weapons, and also the Mothership is about to pop now. Mothership very, very effective, but these Roaches are looking very scary. 1-1 is done for them, of course, +2 ground carapace about to finish up, and 2-2 is done. So 3-3 for the range ground units is on its way out, and now this is just an awful lot of stuff. I mean, the Corruptors already going to town on those Colossi. The Stalker numbers not that high, so aren't dealing with them too effectively. And Destiny is suddenly engaging incredibly well here. I mean, those Colossi are getting taken down very, very quickly. So is the Void Ray. A lot of infested Terrans being locked down, but in comes the Mothership, and that is the saving grace at the last minute that cloaks everything underneath it, and basically means that Destiny's unable to target the remaining units. But to be honest, that was a very nice engagement. While they did level up the units lost, a lot of Colossus were picked off. So while there are 3 on the field still, I mean, a vast chunk of NonY's army was taken down, and has allowed Destiny to basically start securing his 5th and 6th base. So that will put him 2 bases up, which is very, very nice. The worker count is still huge, 77 to 86. NonY does have the worker advantage, but the downside to that, of course, is that Destiny has all of his tech. He's got a lot of bases, and his production is going to be through the roof. He's getting an awful lot of Broodlords out here as well now, and that's just going to help. He's got a lot of Overseers in production, just ready to deal with that Mothership. It'll also soak up some damage of anything that's attacking air automatically, so NonY will have to focus fire down any sort of Broodlord or something like that. Now, obviously the extra bases are fine, but you need to start thinking about throwing down some Spine Crawlers. The reason being for that is, obviously, it's not just Broodlord Infestor, it's Broodlord Infestor Spine, because the Spine gives you that defense, it buys you time for your very slow army to move around, but that is exactly what Destiny's doing here. He is chucking down a couple of Spines here, there, everywhere, just defending his key tech and also his 3rd base. Would like to see some Spines coming down here. We do have some on the way, but I mean, lots of Spines is really what you want to start doing, because not only does it help you with the defense, it's a way to dump your minerals, because you end up gathering an awful lot of minerals as a Zerg player in the late game, and you don't really have an effective way to get rid of them. So basically building Spines, they don't take up any supply either, which is brilliant, and basically means you've got more defensive power very, very cheaply, and obviously supply is 0, so it doesn't affect it in the slightest. Now, you will see a couple of Stalkers getting caught out of position here, and the Roaches do get mowed down. That doesn't matter too badly, because obviously the Roaches are very high cost in terms of supply. This 5th base of Destiny is going to get picked off if it was so choosing. We do have some rotors coming up just down the side here, picking up quite a few pylons. That does supply block NonY. That's less than perfect. Another gateway should get taken down now. I don't think those rotors will get cleaned up in time. The rotors can now pump through. A great burrow and no detection around anywhere here for NonY. I don't quite know where his observer is, but it's nowhere close. Here it is coming back over. Of course, those roaches are going to be incredibly irritating right now, but it's going to pretty much vaporize the roaches the second it appears. So there we go. That is no more roaches in your base. We do have a 5th base coming down here for NonY as well. And looking up at Destiny's base, well, he's getting a lot more spines, which I love. As I've been saying, spines are fantastic. A big spine wall coming down here. And then it's just really a case of holding position, building up your Broodlord numbers. I mean, already got 7, about to be 8 Broodlords on the field, getting the +1 air attack, the +1 melee coming down as well. And you may think, why is there a +1 melee upgrade? Because that affects Broodlings. And now 8 more Broodlords in production. This is going to get a very scary army. Destiny not even worrying about losing this 6th base because, to be honest, he doesn't need to be concerned about that. What I would be a bit concerned about if I was Destiny is this potential weakness here. You could see a lot more spines up in this area would be helpful because that's a direct route into your key tech. I mean, if units got up in here, he could pick off all of these. Obviously, the Evo Chamber is not too important. The Infestation bit critical. The Natural Base is nearly mined out, so not a big loss. But it's this. It's the Roach one, it's the Greater Spire, and the Spawning Pool could all get picked off easily. But we do have NonY coming round, and we should see a big engagement. I mean, Destiny just has so many broods. Up at 15 Broodlords compared to 18 Stalkers, that's never going to engage too comfortably for NonY, but a great Vortex goes down, and that will help massively. No Archon, so you will not see an Archon toilet, but any units that have got caught in there, it's always possible they can get picked up. A great forward blink right there, and we should see that Vortex finish up any second, and now we should see an awful lot of stuff get picked up, but some great transfuses do manage to go down. The Colossus count is huge, a second Vortex on its way out, but I mean, Destiny's engaging in a very nice angle there. The Stalkers aren't able to get underneath the Broodlords, which is really where they need to be. The cloak from the Mothership still being the absolute thorn in Destiny's side. Looking at the loss tab, NonY is engaging relatively cost effectively, but it's still pretty close for this stage of the game. So, to be honest, I wouldn't like to call the advantage either way. I mean, the army supply, only one difference. That is absolutely crazy. Some Morphing Broodlords will get picked off though. That's a bit of a loss. A great forward blink does go down. A whole load of Infested Terrans getting locked out. And I mean, I'm just going to hide the health bars temporarily just to see this madness go on. And as you can see, those Overseers are really causing a problem. If you pick those off quickly, there'll be no detection at all for Destiny. The Infestors coming in though, and well, it's getting a good fungal growth off on all of the Colossi. The Broodlords are absolutely going to town. The Mothership falls, and suddenly the tide of power seems to be going very much in Destiny's favour. So many Colossi get taken out here, but of course this is a Protoss player who is on effectively 4 mining bases. That is huge. His production is going to be through the roof, and I mean, the only advantage for Destiny is that his production is going to be even bigger. The only thing missing really from Destiny's point of view, in my opinion, is he doesn't have a macro hatch down anywhere, which may be useful just to help pump out those units with a quick resupply, but he's just got so many Broodlords, it's crazy. He's getting 6 more as well, 6 more Corruptors, just to help him deal with any air superiority. But importantly, the Mothership was taken out. That is an absolute essential cornerstone of a late game Protoss army, purely because of the Vortex. That is needed so much to cut down the Broodlord numbers and really deal with it effectively. The only thing missing, I feel, from NonY's army are those Archons. It could be very, very effective. And personally, I would go with the Dark Tribe, because then you can warp in a couple of DTs to basically look for any vulnerabilities. Admittedly, though, we do see Destiny is actually very good with his detection at every base, so may not be able to get in, but obviously then, if the DTs can't do anything, you can just morph them into Archons, use that Vortex to do the good old-fashioned Archon toilet, which is whereby you chuck all of the Archons into the Vortex as well, and when everything pops out, they do massive area of effect splash damage. Now we've got a big engagement coming in here. The Stalkers do blink forward, but do get on growth. A whole load of Infested Terrans getting locked out here, and the important thing to remember is Infested Terrans cost nothing but energy, so incredibly cost-effective engagements, and of course so do Broodlings. So that basically means the Broodlords are going absolutely to town. The Colossi numbers are getting an awful lot lower, and just so much stuff getting taken down here, and suddenly the 4th base of NonY is looking to be in big, big problems, and the Broodlord numbers are just crazy. What we are, 18 Broodlords, that is absolutely insane. The Stalkers are taking big damage, a fungal growth does go down on them, allowing the Broodlords to pull back. The Broodlings doing crazy big damage, 2 upgrades for the air attack and melee on the way out. We do have +3 Protoss ground armor coming down. So this 4th base, that is definitely going to fall. There's no way the NonY can save that right now. He's pumping out as many stalks as he can. He does have a mothership at last though. But just look at how many overseers are with his army. One Broodlord does end up on its own. That's not great. But I mean, Blink has now been spent, and just look at the number of broodlings coming down here. That is absolutely crazy. And I mean, if we look at the loss tab, we will see the NonY is not engaging cost effectively in the slightest right now. Again, quite a few thousand resources lost behind, and that's never great. We do have a roach run by here, but there's just so many cannons. I'll be interested to see just how effectively it does engage, but they are three roaches, so that's usually not too bad. The pylon seems to be the target of choice. And now there is this little vulnerability down at the side here. Down behind the mineral line, the roaches can get in, and really they can just try and pick up a couple of probes, which is exactly what they do. And that obviously now puts Destiny back in the lead in terms of the worker count. And this is an epic macro game right now, and it's going to come down to some big engagements, which I feel at the moment Destiny is engaging better with. The army supply is in NonY's favour though, and he does have that mothership back up, and really that is the big problem for Destiny. He needs to find a way to cost effectively engage that, and building an awful lot of Broodlords may be a good approach. It will take him back up to 19, which is huge, but more importantly, he is losing quite a lot of his corruptors. He's actually got no corruptors on the field right now, which he needs to deal with that mothership well, because that was his only form of anti-air short of infested Terrans, which are very effective, I will admit. We do have changelings going down literally everywhere. That's fine. A couple of zerglings going down. The changelings are, again, essentially free. He's not using the overseer's energy for anything else, so might as well just send a whole load of changelings around, basically to have a peek. What can I see? And that's exactly what Destiny's doing, and it's working well for him. NonY needs to really secure this base very, very well. Needs to keep this 4th up as well. And the big problem is Destiny does have that death ball. He's not maxed out yet either. He's got the +3 melee attack on his way, as well as the +2 flyer carapace. So these Broodlords are starting to do absolutely insane damage. You've got the Colossi getting basically held back by the Broodling force. A great blink forward, and now we've got the problem of course the Stalkers are underneath, but blink has been spent. The Broodlords are engaging so well, but in comes that mothership. That's a big problem. A Vortex doesn't really hit where it needs, so I don't think that caught anything at all. Maybe just a couple of overseers, but there are more in the army right now, and of course the Broodlords are going to start going to town on this force. A blink forward is what would be needed here, but I mean the threat of course is those infestors. Only one Broodlord was caught down there. We do have what appears to be, well, a lot of damage being done all around here, and I mean this is hard to say who's coming out on top. Admittedly, we've got a lot of infested Terrans here, and Destiny has actually managed to mind control the mothership. That's absolutely beautiful play, and effectively it's the best counteraction to a mothership is if you can't have a mothership, then nobody can. And well, we do have the Archons in here now for NonY, but there's just so many Broodlords. Archon Stalker is the best way to deal with those broods, and now mass recall goes down. That was absolutely beautiful play. Way to use your enemy's best unit against them. And now we've just got a cloaked Broodlord force. That's pretty sick. The mothership gets taken down as well, and Destiny is ahead in terms of the supply, but there's a real force of power units here. Exactly what NonY needs to deal with all of this. He's moving forward, he's getting that 4 blink down. So many infested Terrans though, you don't want to be engaging those. They have very high DPS and of course cost nothing. But more and more are getting lobbed down. The Broodlords are shielded behind them for the moment, but NonY is just relentlessly powering forward. But I love the fact that Destiny is resupplying on nothing but roaches. He does have 3/3 roaches, they are quick to build, and he's got the bank to support that. He knows that NonY is really on the ropes, so may as well just power those units through more and more. NonY again doing an absolutely incredible defense though, keeping those Colossus alive and basically trying to engage as cost effectively as possible. And for the moment it would appear that Destiny is going to be forced to move back, at least temporarily. His Broodlord numbers have been absolutely shattered, only down to 4 on the field. Only does still have the 10 infestors though, and NonY is now yet again moving up. Destiny does have about 40 supply lead though in terms of army compared to NonY. That is very significant and right where Destiny would want it to be. The lack of a mothership is also going to really hurt NonY right now, and of course Destiny's comfortably sitting on 6 bases compared to the 5 of NonY, so obviously being a base up, he's happy with, he's got spines everywhere. The worker count is slightly in Destiny's favour, but a good number at 66. You don't really want more than that. I mean, 70 is probably about the max you want late game, because you've got all your key tech, you've got a big army, so you're going to be saving up a lot of bank, as we see here. We've got 2,500 minerals and over 1,000 gas sitting there. The Broodlords yet again going in, and those Colossi are just absolutely melting. The +3 melee weapons is done now, so is the +2 air carapace. Those Broodlords are going to survive an awful long time, and a lot of Stalkers getting picked off now. Infested Terrans, the unit of choice from that infested energy, so basically no sign of fungal growth, or very sparingly used, which I think is actually a good move. We do have an awful big roach push coming down here to the 5th base of NonY, and if he was to lose that, it'd be a massive loss. No detection down here either, that's a bit of a pain. The roach is basically moving back, and NonY being forced to come back to try and defend this area, because of course the main army is there. Good blink forward goes down, and of course this army is just getting absolutely trounced right now. We do have the 5th base with the roaches there, they're just unburrowing, ready to go and pick up an awful lot of probes, and I think Destiny has gone and done it. There is the GG from NonY, and that was an absolutely epic macro game, so I hope you did enjoy it. Now, if you did enjoy the game, please give it a thumbs up or a like, leave a cool comment below, either about the game, the cast, or the players. Follow me on Twitter, but if you would, please subscribe, because I get new top level games up every single day, and I wouldn't want you to miss any. The support is great, but most importantly, I really hope you did enjoy the game, and hope to see you again soon. So, bye for now, and catch you again.